Okay. Good morning. Let me see if I can make the image a little bit brighter. Yeah, that's the best I can do right now. I'm going to give it a few seconds because I just announced that I'm doing a live stream, so I'll just wait a few seconds until people are joining the live stream and the chat. So, okay, let's start. War has started. Now, I guess it's all about definitions, but at some point you need to name it. You need to announce and say that, okay, this is war and war has started. I am, of course, talking about the conflict in Ukraine, eastern Ukraine, and I'm going to share some thoughts on that situation. I'm going to ask everyone listening, and especially people joining the live stream, to be humble. I do not believe that any of us are experts on this. And any nihilistic attitude will be, if I see it, I will get rid of it. I will have no nonsense, no childish comments, nothing like that, because this is much too serious. Try to be, and I'm sorry to say this, but I don't. I'll have to say it because this is no joke. We are no experts, okay? Don't be. It's much wiser to ask yourself questions now than to come here with some statement. Okay? So, I think that this conflict that we are seeing now will spread. Okay? And I think it will spread because it is something that NATO and the USA want. And that might sound a little bit strange to some people, but Russia, the rhetoric used towards Russia has been ramped up, so to speak, for a long time. And it's not objective, it's very subjective, and they are trying and have been trying for a long time to paint Russia as the bad guy. And I believe that you could say that, Biden is a fool. Well, he probably is, but the things that he has said, like calling Putin a murderer and so on, that I don't think it's something that just fell out of his mouth. That was planned, and it's not a coincidence that the rhetoric has been that aggressive. Also, I live in Norway, and I will tell you this: whenever there is a military, what's it called? One day, you have troops from the USA and from other countries training, typically up in the North Sea, not the North Sea, but the Barents, and the sea north of the northern tip of Norway. That sea borders to Russia, and when they are out there having these massive military mock wars, you know, it's always portrayed in mainstream media as it's awesome, it's great, and look at us, we are so great. Now, contrast that to when Russia is doing something similar. Then it's always portrayed as Russia being aggressive, Russia testing our patience, and so on and so on. Yeah, Barents Sea, same as Norwegian. Yes, it's and that's the main theme that we see that all over the place, you know, and it's not any intelligent person should be able to look through that. The Russians are not the bad guys. Russia, it's not like Russia is the enemy or should be the enemy. That's nonsense. It's nonsensical. And I've said many times that, you know, we should encourage trade with Russia. We should, you know, get closer to Russia in trade and in diplomacy and so on and so on. That would be good for us here in Norway. It would be good for Europe. It would be good for the Russians, I believe. And I have been saddened. It's been sad to see how even Norway has moved away from Russia, following the narrative from NATO and certain politicians in the USA. And yes, Two Feathers says wars are how they steal our money. Yes, I was getting to that. So now that, you know, I'm not going to, let me just, before I get into that, let me just say that me not being an expert on this conflict at all, I will say that, well, I've been to Russia and I've been to the Ukraine. I haven't been to the areas or the provinces that are now being invaded by Russia, or the provinces that, well, it's, I don't know which words to use here, because there's a separatist movement there, of course. So I've been to both nations, and I know a little bit about the gas, the pipeline of gas, you know, and all that. And someone very early on said that this conflict is about energy. It's about, as always, about money. I don't know. Just saying that people who know a lot about this are saying that this is about trade, money, and the resources that, you know, we all need, like energy. So any war on a large scale will redistribute money or wealth, property, and power. And we will see that now, I believe. There is also this saying that whenever someone, you know, a leader of a large nation like the USA is doing poorly, the best thing to do is to start a war. Because that way you can direct people's attention to something else, and you can point your finger and say that in this case it's the Russians. Well, when it comes to the Democrats in the USA, they've been saying that for a long time, and mainstream media, whenever something bad has happened, it's the Russians meddling. Yeah, maybe they did, maybe they are, but so is the USA, so is Germany, NATO, and all large nations. Berserker Gang 2019 is here. Good to see you. Good to see you. And I would like to also say that anyone who is surprised that this happens now should reconsider. Well, you shouldn't be surprised. Nobody should be surprised, because it's been yeah, this was coming. I think, yeah, it's no surprise, no surprise. And Russia feels that they are cornered, and if you look at this from the Russian perspective, it's very easy to see that the USA and NATO and so on has been the aggressors in the world for a long time. So you can just move over to the other side of the table, and it's very easy to see. Now, if you really want me to see your comment, you'll have to give me a super chat. I'm sorry, but that's the only way that YouTube will make that comment pop up so that I can see it. And of course, any donation is welcome. But also, we are facing dark times, and any donation is welcome, but also consider, keeping the money for yourself if you need to. So, but that's up to you, of course. I would like to say two things that I do know something about, actually. Janie, well, thanks a lot. That's very kind of you. And the first thing is, BA says, good evening. Yeah, Canadians. Okay. Yeah, the situation in Canada, I will address that, but not in this live stream. But thank you for letting me know. Yeah, first of all, you need to have a look at how prepared you are. It depends, obviously, Europeans are much more vulnerable, especially if your country has a border towards Russia. Now, Norway has a border to Russia, and we also have a strategically sorry, important coastline. So I am encouraging everyone to basically get what you need to close yourself off from society, and what's the word? Hunker down, is that the word? I hope that's the expression for some time, for a few months, actually. You should also be prepared to move on short notice. And again, I've said this before, I do not subscribe to this prepper mentality where you think that you're going to sit there in your home and defend your home. That's unrealistic. You might have to move. That shouldn't be your first option, but it's probably a much more likely scenario than most preppers think. It's different in a place like the USA or Canada than in European countries. But if you share the border to a nation that has been defined as the enemy, a nation that could invade your country, you should be prepared to move out of that country, away from the enemy. on short notice, and I'm talking hours. Okay, and some would say, well, I will stay and fight. Yeah, you can do that, and you can try to fight the Russian army. You're not going to win, I can tell you that. So let me see here. Did I miss a super chat? I am Poststone. I'm trying to read the comments. Let's see here. Two Feathers, thanks for the donation. You're saying that Biden's not protecting American borders. Don't get your hopes up, Ukraine. He's using you. Yes, I think there is no love involved here. The present administration in the USA is using the Ukraine, and they have wanted this for a long time, and they've been poking the Russian bear with a long stick, for a long time, and it's, again, it should come as no surprise that this is happening. So, and the other thing I want to say is that, yeah, Jason, I'm not saying it will go nuclear. I never said that. The other thing I would like to say, again, I'm trying to stay very humble because I do not know the regions we're talking about here, and I do not know I'm just sitting here in Norway, okay? So I'm trying to be humble, but I do know a little bit about the situation with control. Like, you need to see this, how this is linked to what's been going on for the last 2 years. Now, I'm not saying that it's, there's a grand plan behind this. Well, maybe there is. I don't know. But things seem to line up very conveniently for certain people. So you have populations now, nations, where the democratic processes have been closed down pretty much and replaced with dictatorship. In Norway, the democratic process has been eradicated, as in many other countries, and replaced with a directly translated, it would be the infection control law, something like that. And when you have such a degree of control of your population, you can pretty much do what you want. And that's what they're doing now. Ian Goodwin, thanks a lot for the donation there. Thanks a lot. So there is another thing as well, and people have been, there is a fatigue in the population. People are tired. No wonder. People are tired. And they don't want to, they care much less about what's going on in the world now than they used to. They care more about themselves, more about their little circle of family and friends. They couldn't care less about what's going on in the Ukraine and Russia. That's what I think. That's what I see around me. And also, mainstream media is now so far removed from reality that I think it's not even an expectation that they will portray reality as it is anymore. Now, of course, you have people out there who will not. They will continue to refuse to see that the so-called reality presented by mainstream media doesn't line up with the real world. Like they like how should I put this? Most people see that the map doesn't fit with the terrain. It doesn't describe the terrain anymore, but they will still believe that the map is correct and we should follow the map, even if it's not correct at all. So that's why people will sit there and they will say that, yeah, it's Putin. He's just he's a villain, and the Russians are the bad guys, and that's all there is to it. That's it. It's that simple. Yeah, this is happening because Russia is a bad is they are bad. They are the bad guys. And for people who have that simplified view of the world, people like that can be controlled very easily, and these warmongers and these institutions that they are the real villains, if we're going to use such a term. I don't think we should, but if you look at the Biden administration, the World Economic Forum, NATO, um, uh, they are not good for the world. I hate to say that, but it's the truth. Um, and I'm not saying Putin is a good guy, not at all. He's not a good guy here. Um, but we need to throw away that simplified view of the world. Okay, let me. Yeah, exactly. NATO bombarded Syria without any justification from the UN. But the funny. No, sorry, wrong choice of word there. But the it was portrayed as the right thing to do. It was not questioned in mainstream media. But what if it was a similar nation and Russia did the same there? It would have been condemned. Yeah, well, again, I don't think that we are 100% safe here in Norway. If you look back at history, we are exposed here. Not saying that we will be invaded tomorrow, but people should have their preparations in order. BA, thanks a lot for the donation. Yourself and Woodlander. The Woodlander, good channel, by the way, are ahead of thinking, getting off grid, off depth, closer to nature. I bought a boat and looking at coastal land here in Canada. Appreciate your advice. Well, actually, thank you. Buying a boat is, if you live in Norway, buying a boat is probably good advice now. It should be a sailing boat, by the way. Let me see if Poststone says, here's a bit. I love your quiet, steady wisdom. No one is prepared for the hand we dealt ourselves. Exactly. And thank you there for the donation. Liliopatra, thanks for the donation there. Love from the USA. Much love to you and your family. Well, thank you for that. Very kind words there. Very kind words. You know what I lack, I miss. Let me see if I can. Okay. Uh, I wish I had seen world leaders being more humble. Now, a good example is Biden. Biden is an idiot. He's not a smart man. I don't think he was ever a smart man. Um, and he's the most. I've seen some of the video clips, him shouting at people, lying about his education, lying about his academic accomplishments, and so on. And nobody can know everything, and nobody is flawless. Um, I would like to see some world leaders that are much more humble. It has to do with culture, I guess. I do see, I do see some humbleness in the new Norwegian Prime Minister. Not saying that I support his policies, but he's a more humble person than the previous one. So that's good. But again, it's just him trying to please the population. I don't know. But the most tyrannical leaders, like the Trudeau guy, they are always, they try to portray themselves as wise men and women, and they are not. INF, greetings from Toronto. Well, yes, I tried to be myself, and thank you for appreciating that. Let me see here if I. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to get to Trudeau as well. I tried on my main channel. I tried to. I'm because of my writing and it takes time. I'm at the moment only able to make one video a week. So it kind of so many things are happening, and I need to also bring you with me out in nature. I think that's important. So it adds up a little bit, but I'll get to it. In a way, I think it's sadly it's no hurry because they are they're not stopping, are they? Um, you know. Okay. Mike Robbins, thanks for becoming a member to the channel. You will have access to the members only live streams now. Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about Trump. I've said before I don't like Trump. That has to do with his mannerisms, but I'm a grown up, and I'm able to see through that. And I believe that yes, I agree. This would not have happened if Trump was president. And you could say, he would take. He's not humble. He's the opposite of humble. But he, I think he did a lot of good things. No, he did the right things for world peace. I believe, and it's like you should never. Your support when it comes to world leaders should never be about if you like the guy or not. I mean, it's difficult to like a guy like Trump, but you can't deny that he did a lot of good things for the American economy, and I believe he did a lot of good things for world peace actually. And I know that's like it exposes me when I say that because we're not allowed to say that, are we? But it's the truth. It is actually the truth, you know. Um, Now, okay. AC said, I like Trump, even his personality. And yes, you know, I've said I like Trump as well. But that's because of the entertainment value. And sometimes you have to ask yourself, is this a joke? You know, is it just trying to um, get a reaction from people? Is it trolling people? Yeah. But anyway, KJ3N, don't have to like Trump to respect his policies. Exactly. His ego offends people. Exactly. But it actually helps him be a good leader, says KJ3N. Yeah, and I think that okay, lots of opinions about Trump, you know. Yeah, he's the biggest troll. Yeah, okay. So again, you know, we can sit here all day long and have opinions about what's happening in eastern Ukraine, and we can say that this will probably spread. Maybe not, but I would, if I had to bet, I would say that it will spread. But I don't know where or when. Um, the Hardy, well, thank you for the donation. I don't think that was you've been tricked. No, I haven't. Um, I've I'm never tricked. um, and yeah, you know, it's you can believe that if you want. That's okay. Audrey R. Well, thanks a lot for the donation. Love and prayers from South Africa. Um, uh, let's see here. RC Scott, if you, yeah, I think, yeah, welcome as a member. But you've been, I can't remember if this it's second month or, but anyway, I get a notification here that you are now a member. But I think you've been a member, you were a member already. But anyway, let's scroll down. Well, thank you for that, by the way. So at the end of the day, what matters is what do you do? You know, these people, they will play their game anyway. And what do? You have to prepare. You have to get your, like the Christians like to say, house in order. It's a good saying. But we are facing so many threats now that it would be a miracle if we're not affected by any of them. You know, we have the energy crisis. We have, uh, let's just say, a new wave. It's not over. You know, this fall they will be at it again. You know, and we have this situation now with Russia, and it's all lining up. You know, it's all lining up. So what do? You have to get stock up on food. You know, that's the most important thing. Um, if only because of the rising prices of food, you know, it's sensible to buy food now. You're going to eat it anyway. Better to buy it now before it becomes even more expensive. Yeah, good pointer. Yeah, Putin was one of those little. Is he a, you know, one of the little students there in the World Economic Forum. Um, it's funny, isn't it? It's funny. It's all lining up, you know. Uh, we need to get prepared in a sensible way, you know. Don't panic. Don't do crazy stuff. Don't spend more money than you're comfortable spending. Don't don't trade in all your money for silver and gold, you know. It's probably not the wise thing to do, you know. And some preppers will say that, well, you should. I don't think so. You need to diversify when it comes to investments. Um, Historically, that's been, you know, wise. Um, yeah, please behave in the live stream here. Um, this is not this is not a place for childish behavior. Uh, that's you will find thousands of other live streams where you can behave like that. The hardies of one says your hubris and pride will be a downfall. I wish you the best in this life. Well, is that aimed at me? Um, or is it a general comment? Let's say it's a general comment. Um, I don't think I'm suffering from hubris. Um, okay. My novels. Many people are asking. My novels, as per today, are not available in English. They are available in many other languages. If you go to my website, and you will find a link to my website in the video description, you will see links there on the start, on the homepage, on the first page. You see two different languages, and I will be updating that list. There is also a petition there that someone started. If you want to see my novels published in English, you can sign that petition. Hopefully, it helps. Um, so, okay. Let's see here. Yeah, well, let me tell you something about, you know, being prepared, getting prepared for what's coming. Um, I truly believe that they being certain people, and I have names, but I can't name them here. Um, well, I could, but that's, you know, risky. They want to make you poor, and the way to do that is to raise the prices of the things that you need, that you have to have, like electrical power for your house. Um, that comment was not directed to me. Well, oh yeah, I'm Norwegian, so it's I translate everything. So yeah, well, I didn't think it was aimed at me, you know. But that's okay. Um, so when everything, food, electrical power, gas for your car, everything becomes more and more expensive. Uh, Try to find ways to disconnect from that. You know, someone wrote her, buy plywood for your windows. It sounds like a little bit extreme. Are you going to cover your windows in plywood? No. But what if you get very, very cold weather and you can't pay the bill, you know, for the electric power? Or if it's so expensive that, you know, it's just too expensive. You have to you can cover your windows and you can do things. You should have a wood stove in your house, and all that. Grow your own food, um, stock up on food, and all that. Um, hmm. and at this point in Norway now. Well, thank you, Mike Robbins. Thanks for the donation. Um, in in Norway, having a car is now so expensive that normal people, I don't know how let me okay, 21 Norwegian kroner per liter. If anyone would have the time, can you convert that to dollars per gallon? 21 Norwegian kroner per liter. Because you will be shocked at how expensive it is now. And it's going to get more expensive. And if we try to tie this together now with what's happening in the Ukraine, now how do you think this will affect prices? It certainly is something that people making military decisions and political decisions have kept in mind. It's not a coincidence that this is happening now. Mr. Sorpo says it was closer than 22 Norwegian kroner per liter yesterday. Yeah. And it's like at the end of the day, you need to get something back. At the end of the day, you stop caring about doing your job. Well, for me, I will always write. I will always make these videos, but because I love doing that. But I think what we're going to see is that at a certain level of prices or expense, people will stop working. It's not that they will, and this is something that our so-called leaders, they're not able to see that because they think that they can just jack up the prices and people will work more and more and more. No. People will stop working. They will say, I don't want to be part of this anymore. Or they will just sit down and they will be like, I can't pay my bills. I can't do anything about this. They will resignate. They will give up. And then they won't go to work that day or the next day. And they won't drive their car. They will stop caring. Where that was a phenomenon that actually destroyed an entire nation? Russia. So in the Soviet era, production was down, and private initiative was not a thing. I mean, why would people care? There was no incentive for them to care. And they would stand in line to buy bread, because of lack of resources, because of lack of food. When I was in the Ukraine, that was in the early 90s, the stores were still like that. And it was just incredible to see that. And that's how communism works. That's how you ruin a society, you ruin a country. You take away private initiative, you take away people's autonomy. And that's what we're seeing now, you know? That's what's happening now. So the audio one says, "It was directed at you. I'm disappointed. This man could lead you all astray. I'm leaving." Yes, please do. Yeah, you're. I just threw that guy out of the live stream as well. Um, yeah. So let's see here. Yeah, people are talking about prices. Okay. Yeah, it's a bit complicated to convert Norwegian kroner per liter to dollars per gallon. And if I'm not mistaken, there's a difference between US gallons and British gallons, or is that just me being wrong? But anyway, the prices are incredible here in Norway now. It's just it's criminal, and it's going up in the US as well, and in the UK, and in many countries. Okay. Yeah, good point here from someone in Alaska. I wonder sometimes if the old bear wants Alaska back, and if so, how bad. They did get a pretty bum deal when the US purchased it. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and for those who don't know, Alaska was Russian back in the day. You know, um, yeah, and Britain S writes there just the Great Reset. It does look like a reset, doesn't it? Absolutely does. You know. Yeah, the chat is fast here. I'm going to have to end this live stream now, also because the battery is running out. Yeah. Again, I think that there are two things that we should do now. First of all, prepare, stock up on food, supplies, keep an eye on the horizon. And the other thing is that we should be humble. We should keep studying, keep trying to understand, because there are many factors involved here. You won't get an objective image of what's going on from watching mainstream media, obviously. So we need to keep studying the situation and keep educating ourselves, keep being critical to our own thinking, actually, and we need to keep asking ourselves the right questions. You know. Just a quick, well, thanks there, Harvey. Yes, I'm going to get into videos about masculinity as well, and the importance of masculinity and all that. But okay, I will have to end this live stream now before it all shuts down because of the battery. I am sorry, but thank you all for joining, and stay safe out there.